Hi YA nerds! Welcome back to another episode of Reading Rue. I'm Rue. I'm here to talk to you today about Ice Massacre. Unfortunately, I don't have a physical copy of this book. It's only published as an ebook, as far as I know. It came out, I think, in 2016. It's by Tiana Warner. I don't remember how many pages it is. I can tell you right now, it's 373 pages on my phone. So definitely in a quick read in my opinion. Definitely a good read. I will get into that in a second. I actually wanted to review both the first book and the second book at once. But I think I'll just tell you guys about the first book and you can do the second book on your own. Second book is called Crypt. Ice Crypt. Also really good. Follows along really well. I read both of them in like I said, only a couple of days. Plowed through them. Couldn't put them down. I actually got the first book on sale on Amazon and name drop Amazon, and like almost immediately after I finished it, went and purchased the second one at full price. Needed it so bad. I think the third one and the final book is coming out next year. It seems like every book I review, the next book's coming out next year. It's just the way it is in YA, I guess. Once a year we go. So Ice Massacre by Tiana Warner. It's a mermaid's... Oh, hold on. Let me restart. A mermaid's supernatural beauty serves one purpose: to lure a sailor to his death. The massacre is supposed to bring peace to Ariana Kwai. Every year, the island sends its warriors to battle these hostile sea demons. Every year, the warriors fail to return. Desperate for survival, the island must decide on a new strategy. Now, the fate of Ariana Kwai lies in the hands of 20 battle-trained girls and their resistance to the mermaid's allure. 18-year-old Mila has already lost her brother to the massacre, and she has lived with a secret that's haunted her since childhood. For any hope of survival, she must overcome the demons of her past and become a ruthless mermaid killer. For the first time, Ariana Kwai's massacre warriors are female, and Mila must fight for her people's freedom on the Pacific Ocean's deadliest battleground. So, first off, very interesting. It takes place in the Pacific Ocean, so it's about oceanic people. Ariana Kwai is described as being off the coast of Canada in the Pacific Ocean. Really very fascinating, very different than your usual YA books. Like I said before, really enjoyed this one. Here's my review. I just have to say, and spoiler alert, lesbian mermaids. Lesbian mermaids. Also badass battle chicks. I loved every inch of this book. Like I said earlier, read it because of the different take on mermaids, learned about the warriors on Ariana Kwai, and was instantly in love with literally all of them. Especially Mila. She is amazing. She's so desperate to marry together two halves of this world that we're introduced to. And as a child, she actually befriends a mermaid. That's another spoiler, although you find out about it in chapter 2, so really not a spoiler. That's her big dark secret at first. More on that later. You know, you find out when she's on the ship that the team of mermaids she's fighting, her childhood best friend is in that team of mermaids. It's so intense. Her loyalty's called into question a million different ways. I couldn't put it down. It was a roller coaster and I loved it. Loved every second of it. There's revelations all over the place. You know, and it has that wonderful message that only love can save us all. And I like that. I like that message, as corny and cheesy as it is. Sometimes I can be very corny and cheesy. It happens. So the tropes that this follows, the chosen one, wrecking ball ending, love triangle, strong, smart female protag, youths in danger, trilogy, love cures all, and Romeo and Juliet. Definitely rating it a 10 out of 10. Would read 1,000 times again. And the second book too. And now, off of my phone, I will read to you my favorite part. Also, it's in first person. Slowly, I pulled myself from the bush and crept down to the beach, crouching low into the gray sand and rocks. Black clouds masked the sun's rays, making it easier for me to blend with my surroundings. A mermaid hunter must be stealthy, nimble. With a quiet lapping sound, her hair disappeared. I paused, balancing on 2 stones with my bare feet. Steps away from where she'd been, another ripple, this time brushing the line between the sand and water. I held my breath and focused. The water was shallow in the tide pool, up to my waist maybe. That was no reason to assume I was at an advantage. The rocks under my feet didn't budge as I stepped closer. After months of practice, I could move with the fluid silence of a puma. Her forehead emerged. Her blue eyes glimmered like sapphires, inhumanly large and adapted for catching prey in the black waters. My stealth was futile. She looked right at me. With a war cry, I pounced. I landed on top of her with a great splash, soaking myself in the surrounding rocks. She twisted beneath me and wriggled from my grasp with ease. I was left on my hands and knees at the edge of the shallow pool for only a moment, and then a pair of arms grabbed me around the middle and rolled me back onto land. She pinned me on my back with her icy hands. "Surrender, weakling!" I thrashed beneath her arms, trying to free myself, even a sliver, so I could push her off me. "No fair, Lacey. You're stronger than me." She sat on my stomach and crossed her arms. Her tail waved in the pool, creating its own tide. "My brother says mermaids are stronger than humans." Grunting, I rolled onto my stomach and forced Lacey to slide onto the wet rocks. "I know that." She smiled, wryly, and smoothed her knotted seaweed-laced hair. "I bet I'm already stronger than your papa." I jumped back into a crouch. A 10-year-old? Fat chance, slowpoke. I soared through the air and knocked her backwards. We splashed into the water in a fit of giggles, scrambling to pin one another down. "I made you something," she said amidst our scrapping. Pinned beneath her again, I spared a minute to catch my breath. "What is it?" Lacey pushed herself off me and reached to the bottom of the tide pool. Before she could even tell me what it was, I knew it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. She must have read my expression, because her face broke into an enormous smile. "It's meant for wearing around your neck. It protects you from the wrath of the sea god or something. Also, it's pretty." "A necklace," I said, awed. "Necklace," she said the word to herself a few times, adding more of my language to her vocabulary. She had a funny accent when she talked, but I didn't mind because her voice carried in a way that made everything like a song. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna rate this one, or range this one on the age scale, 15, 16, 17. I think it's a great story for that age group. I think a 15-year-old will definitely understand the whole war thing. The fact that Ariana Kwai, these people have been at war with mermaids for a long time. I think that the wonderful romance that happens between our 2 main characters is also amazing. Truthfully, that is a really big spoiler, so I'm sorry. I mean, if you're anything like me, you see it coming from a mile away. You see it coming from that first chapter where they're kids together and they're playing in the tide pools. Yeah, I think 15, 16, 17, great age, perfect age for this book. Definitely pick it up. It's a really good one. It surprises you. It takes you to different places. And the second book, we follow Lacey around under the water and we get to see like what the mermaids' lives are like. Whereas in this one, we're basically on a ship the entire book, which it's great. Like, don't get me wrong. Considering that you're on a ship for the most time, it doesn't feel like The Old Man in the Sea, which is great. But yeah, so that's how I feel about Ice Massacre. Definitely pick it up. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. We're gonna upload every other Thursday. I think that's what it's looking like. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say about Ice Massacre, and I'll talk to you later, YA nerds.